Over 4,300 X's later, we can say with certainty that this is one of the greatest investments in cryptocurrency history and certainly one of the highest returning investments in the entire history of humanity. How did we get here, and what can we learn from the absolute rocket ride that has been Bored Ape Yacht Club? Today, we're breaking down one of the biggest opportunities in the history of crypto, a cultural phenomenon, and something I'm proud to have spotted very early on in its life cycle here on this channel. Since the inception of this project, I've become enamored with NFT culture, and it's led me to make some of the absolute best and highest winning decisions in my entire cryptocurrency career. It's also informed a tremendous amount about how I'm approaching my own project, Imposters, an NFT-based video game that's about to have an absolutely monstrous next few weeks. Today's episode is going to be jam-packed from start to finish, so make sure you smash that like button, and just for fun, we're going to give away $1,000 to someone who comments in the comment section below their favorite part about today's episode, NFTs, I don't know, really anything. Any comment will do. So first, let's do some accounting, because you just saw this crazy formula. How are you supposed to know that I got it right? Let's total up all the pieces of the Bored Ape Yacht Club that you would own if you minted a Bored Ape or bought it in that first few days and simply held it, never sold. Well, you'd for sure have your Bored Ape, which has a floor right now of 146 Ethereum. Remember that they minted for 0.08 ETH. We also have the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, which everyone got one for free just for holding their Bored Apes. We also have the Bored Ape Kennel Club, which was an airdrop to Bored Ape holders. And of course, we have ApeCoin, which if you held your Bored Ape and your Kennel Club in the same wallet, along with your Mutant Ape and your Kennel Club, you would have gotten these two numbers right here, one for your Bored Ape and one for your Mutant Ape. So that's 10,950 Ape coins for holding your Bored Ape and Kennel Club together, and 2,898 Ape coins for holding your Mutant Ape and your Dogo in the same wallet. ApeCoin has been on an absolute tear, coming in at about 19.5 bucks per Ape coin. So where does that leave us? Well, we have our floor values, 146 plus 37.8 plus 11.5. We multiply that against the current price of Ethereum. Then we add in our ApeCoin, our 19.49 times 10,950 plus 2,898. Then we take this whole formula, which gives us a US dollar value of everything we've gotten through the ecosystem. It's something north of $800,000. And we divide it by the original purchase price for a Bored Ape, which, if we can go ahead and show this to you, is $192 roughly was the purchase price before gas to buy your Bored Ape. Putting it all together, we get a grand return of 4,304 X's above the mint price, which of course is within spitting distance of 500,000% returns. Of course, we know that Bitcoin traded really for no money and well under $1 for periods of its life cycle. Therefore, Bitcoin still has higher gains, and I'm sure you could find some weird esoteric altcoin that momentarily had higher gains than this, but let's all just be honest for a second. This is one of the craziest investments and returns we've ever seen in history. And in the midst of a bear market here in crypto land, we're seeing all-time highs here for Bored Ape value, which is not only setting a historical precedent that an altcoin could have a flourishing all-time high coming in on strength in the midst of a down market for Bitcoin, showing perhaps the first meaningful decoupling of an alternative asset class within cryptocurrency from Bitcoin, something that is extremely bullish for the future of this industry. But of course, that's not where this story ends. There's one of the biggest events in the history of the Bored Ape ecosystem happening this weekend. And in my opinion, the writing is on the wall that this is going to be one of the biggest events in NFT history. Not only today, but probably for the foreseeable future as well. Let me explain. Bored Ape Yacht Club is a cultural phenomenon bringing NFTs to the masses in a way that was only dreamed of by non-fungible visionaries of yesteryear. You see, Bored Ape crossed over into the mainstream, attracting famous athletes, rappers, and cultural icons. It's currently being piloted by a minority partner, Guy Oseary, who is known for managing Madonna, U2, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and being partners with Ashton Kutcher, investing through their VC fund in some of the biggest winners of Web 2. Bored Apes are far from just monkeys. They're a group of extremely elite collectors of unique artifacts of the internet who believe so strongly in the mission behind this project that they're unwilling to sell, even at what is a downright eye-watering price of 146 Ethereum. Multiply that by about 3,000, and you have a floor value of over $500,000 per monkey JPEG. That's some crazy effing stuff. Now, when they did their Mutant Ape Yacht Club drop, I was no fool. I went full in and went crazy, minting as many mutants as I could possibly get my hands on before drying up all the liquidity I had on hand in the few minutes I had to react. This drop was the biggest drop in the history of NFTs, clocking over $90 million in revenue. However, it was done in stealth. No one had time to prepare for it. There was no sense of what was coming. And so in many senses, a lot of the powers that be missed this follow-up drop to the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem. And even though I ranted and raved about it being the budget entry into Bored Ape Yacht Club that people would soon go crazy for, obviously I understand they were still expensive even at a few Ethereum. That said, they've absolutely mooned, going from 2.8 ETH mint price to now 37.85 ETH floor, and they were actually over 40 ETH floor recently. Now, without a doubt, ApeCoin, their recent airdrop to Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and Bored Ape Kennel Club holders has been one of the most successful versions of an NFT project launching a token. In fact, nothing else comes even close. ApeCoin currently has a circulating market cap of $5.5 billion and an FDV of almost $20 billion. This circulating market cap is even above the valuation that they just clocked on their recent $4 billion venture capital round, which we'll talk about the significance of in just a minute. Bored Ape Yacht Club even graced the cover of Rolling Stone, has done multiple collaboration drops with leading brands in the streetwear world, and continues to have pretty much everything they touch become white hot with absolute raw anticipation and astronomical secondary sales. It's even getting its own movie produced by Coinbase. But what's really important to realize here is they've just done a $450 million investment round that they're calling their seed round at an eye-popping valuation of $4 billion. That makes it the largest American seed round in the history of this country. That's right. NFTs have shattered records at a pace that is almost hard to believe. So what's happening this weekend, and how can we put all of these pieces together to understand? Well, to explain fully what I think is going to happen this weekend, we need to go into the owl's nest. That's right, if you weren't living under a rock this last month, you would have taken note of a project called Moonbirds. Moonbirds was created by Proof Collective, effectively a group of Web2 Silicon Valley VCs that have been doing their own thing in Web3, quietly and strategically planning their own response to Bored Ape Yacht Club. This Moonbirds collection, which is just a bunch of pixelated owls, had a wild historic raffle where they minted out at 2.5 Ethereum per Moonbird. They then had some of the most historic, the most historic volume ever to hit OpenSea, clocking over 100,000 Ethereum in just the first few days of their existence and rocketing up to a peak floor of well over 40 Ethereum. This is something that is completely unprecedented in NFTs, to have a project go from relatively unknown, just being talked about in some certain circles, to rocketing up with this level of volume. For context here, 118,000 Ethereum is over $350 million in volume. And this project's only a few days old. What I believe the lesson here is that there is a ton of sideline liquidity from Web 2 pillars of the internet. People who were behind the velvet rope investing in things like Twitter and Instagram and Uber in early, impossible to access venture capital rounds. Those people loaded up on Web 2 cash machines were not there for the mint of Bored Ape Yacht Club. They weren't there to go in heavy and get some preferred entry into Mutant Ape Yacht Club. If you weren't there and just jumped to the computer, you didn't get the mint price. What we see is that Moonbirds was the first one that they saw coming and they planned to put their fingerprints on. I'm using they because Moonbirds and the response on the charts can only really be described by an Illuminati-esque approach of Web 2 money getting off the sidelines and creating an instant blue chip in Moonbirds by dumping hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidity. Wallets were coming out of nowhere that had absolutely insane size. And in general, reading through the lines here, what we see is a bunch of Silicon Valley money that got off the sidelines and got into Moonbirds, staking their claim in the first real NFT play that they saw coming. So let's summarize here. Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the best investments in history. The numbers back this up. It's a cultural phenomenon unlike any other, but besides this equity round, there hasn't really been an NFT-based way for Web 2 money to really get in, get early, or get a big chunk of things before the general public. But But that's all about to change this weekend. And given the success of Moonbirds coming from Web2 Silicon Valley VCs, what we know is there is an absolute army of VCs looking to get their hands on a big chunk of the Yuga Labs, aka Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem. And that's going to happen this weekend with the launch of their Otherside mint. So what is the Otherside? The Otherside is the metaverse being created by Bored Ape Yacht Club in partnership with a lot of the most elite and prestigious NFT projects, including Cool Cats, World of Women, CryptoPunks, and more. The entire thing is going to run on ApeCoin, which of course shouldn't surprise because they just dropped this absolutely monstrous multi-billion-dollar amount of free money to the community. And despite giving people billions of dollars for free, people keep buying this stuff because they're so sold on this ecosystem. The amount of money coming in to support ApeCoin is absolutely astounding. Supposedly the metaverse will play home to other NFT characters as well. It will be interoperable. We really don't know that much about it except that the mint is this weekend. And they announced it in a pretty sneaky way. That's right, out of nowhere, a mysterious link appeared on the Bored Ape Yacht Club Twitter asking people to KYC for something that they didn't know what it was. And a lot of people faded this. They thought it was an overreach asking for such personal information as your name. In general, people just hate KYC in this industry. However, what we just learned is that the entire land mint for the Otherside is going to happen in ApeCoin, meaning that the only people that can buy this off the mint, in addition to the airdrops they'll get for owning a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape, the only people that will get to mint are those who KYC'd, of which supposedly there's only about 15,000 people. However, what we've heard is that there's about 55,000 pieces of land. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the people who KYC'd will probably end up with fat stacks of land at the cheapest possible entry price. I wonder, who are the people who would have known to KYC, to take this so seriously? Of course, there are plenty of community members, but let's be real. Chances are there are an absolute monstrous amount of Web2 Silicon Valley VCs that knew what was coming. So what we do know is that there's going to be land. This is coming from a pitch deck. We have no idea how accurate this is. Judging by the visuals, I'm guessing that this is an early draft, but you can see that the land has different characteristics, artifacts, and paired characters such as this coda on it. We'll go into more of this and speculate on exactly what these things will do in a future episode. But the point is, it seems to me as if the Silicon Valley VCs are finally in position to take advantage of a Bored Ape Yacht Club mint. The TLDR here is that I expect for this Otherside land mint to make this Moonbirds volume look absolutely puny. And I do believe that this will be the first major entry of Web 2 money into Web 3 in a way that's big enough, has enough size, enough meat on the bone for the biggest investors in the space to truly fill their beaks and get their fair share of Web 3. So not only is Bored Ape Yacht Club the greatest potential investment ever in the history, but it's bucking trends decorrelating from Bitcoin and mainstream crypto in the depths of a bear market. And the fact is, this can happen for NFTs as they abide by totally different rules of the road. It's not just Bitcoin going up that drives their value. In fact, we see the same thing out of the Clone X ecosystem. And this brings me to my work here in the NFT space. I believe that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the potential of NFTs. That this particular asset class, while it may get hurt during a recession or an extreme bear market, the reality is that the good NFTs will be collected by those who don't need to panic sell, who believe in the mission, who are united in a vision, and in the end, there's only a few thousand NFTs to sell. So after panic sets in and the paper hands sell, well, after a certain point, supply shock comes back into the picture and number can go back up again. This is why NFTs are so special, because there's only so much supply and you can't divide them. Actually, this illiquidity in some ways is a feature, not a bug. And to me, I'm very excited to see what happens. I'm personally heads down focused 100% on imposters. This is a game that has potential to be the first proper combination of video games and NFT culture that we've seen. Keep an eye on my Twitter as I'll be having some huge updates about the Imposters Genesis season as the first major event is coming up in just a few days. If you don't already have an Imposters Alien, I'd encourage you to check it out. The reality is that we're building an absolutely incredible community. And with the amount of years that have gone into building this project before the NFT culture mania popped up into existence, I believe Imposters is one of the best positioned to ride this trend into mainstream gaming. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode. There will be more imposter-specific information coming up. My whole focus right now is on that project and making it pierce through into the mainstream of gaming culture, and I'm so excited to continue to bring you along the journey with me as we build what I believe is the most impactful products in the entire space. As always, I hope you enjoyed learning about Bored Ape Yacht Club. As you well know, I've been covering Bored Apes since they were much cheaper. In fact, we started examining this movement not too far after the Bored Ape Yacht Club mint. Again, when I started covering these things, I was lambasted and told I was covering scams and all these things and that I was being irresponsible. But in reality, the best investments often are hard to understand at first. And I'm thankful for each one of you who has pushed yourself to understand more, to grow, and to wrap your heads around the magic of NFTs. I'll be doing a video very soon on NFTs and how they might fare during a potential economic recession, as well as my overall thesis on the market, as I have a ton of thoughts to share as to where we're headed in cryptocurrency land. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked the video, smash that like button. Remember to follow me on Twitter at EllioTrades. Comment in the comment section below and you can win $1,000. And I will see you very soon on the next episode.